Hello everyone, hi, I'm Oki. Today I will be teaching you how to make the inverse tracking physics and all of that, right? Hopefully I can teach you this in another like 10 minutes. So, I kind of fucked up earlier because I already made the group editing for it. So let me just start from the bottom. Yep, okay. So, now, basically this is going to involve a lot of things. Let me just put the folders here, because I put them in a folder because we're not going to use it, right? So, basically you have your normal turn, right? This is your angle X and all of that. Basically, we're going to use inverse tracking, right? So that you can put it on a switch and, have it turn differently at the turn of a switch, right? It's kind of complicated. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Because, what you call this thing? You can make this into a preset and pass it on over, like, many types of works, right? So, first up, we're going to need 6 parameters, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need main turn X switch, main reversed turn X switch. You can name it whatever. I just call them that because kind of problematic. So name this main turn X phys, because this is going to be turned into physics. Reverse turn, reversed turn, phys X. Okay. Oh, yeah, pretty good. Now this is going to be turned into later on for switching and all of that. So yeah, and this one will be the what you call this thing, output X, like the totality of it, on which is going to be prioritized, either the main turn X or the reverse turn, right? So you will have 6 parameters to do this, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now on the physics, this is good because here's the thing: you're not going to rig anything on these. This is just parameters that is just going to be used for the passing of it, right? Where we use parameters that are not being used in a rig for other purposes like breathing, turning, animations, and all of that, right? Because this has nothing on it. It'll be used for physics mainly. So I'll go to your physics window, right? And I want you to add. This is going to be main turn X switch. Okay, so I want you to change this to negative 120, negative 120, 120. Add, change it, right click, open it, 0.7. Nice, so 0.7. Now we're going to add. You can use either angle X or body X, but typically I would use body X because so that I can have a separate input from it. But for this demonstration, I will use only the angles, right? So click angle X, and then you need to have your main turn X switch, and on the output, you should have your main turn X phys. Okay, right? So angle, change these to angle types to angle, and for the angle X, right, make sure it's 25 because basically we're going to use imagine. So look left, right, and you see here the output is 1.7, just in case output. So you can see that the main turn X phys is now moving along with it, right? Here, right? So basically now we gotta turn on the switch. You gotta do it while it's 0, by the way. So increase the output here while this is still 25, 0, and when it's done, like 100 here, go to here and change it to 0. Right, just click and drag it. So now we have our switches. So if I put this at the side, it will be turned off. It'll not be tracked. You can see that, right? We'll fix that later because that's a big problem because you need to have another physics group to counter that. So now we're going to duplicate this for the reverse turn switch. Reverse turn X switch. Right, switch. And just switch this to reverse turn X switch, and then this to reverse turn phys X. Yes. And when you're done, just, inverse it. So now it's being tracked. You can see here, this goes left, this goes right. Right? Now that you've done all of that, right, now you're going to make the totality, right? Where everything is going to be processed and which is going to be prioritized or not prioritized, right? So, add, what you call this thing? Outputted X. Okay. This is going to be a doozy, so change this to negative 120. 120. Add. Right? And then, what you call this thing? Change this to 0.7 once again. Right? So, go to output settings and add your outputted X. This time, instead of adding the 2, right, we're going to add the fizzes, the main turn X fizz, reverse turn X fizz, and their switches, right? So, click OK. So, you're going to change them to angle, all of it to angle, all of it to angle, all of it to angle. And it goes 25. It all has to be equal, right? Okay. You're going to make the switches inverted, by the way, so that it stays in the middle. Right now, it's being inversed, right? But if I were to turn this on, nothing happens because each movement is being cancelled by each other, and this one gonna be turned on so that it's what you call this thing, turning left and right. Right now, you can see it. So it's turning left, right, left, right. Is if you don't inverse this, goofy things will happen. Like it's not going to be processed. So just invert it, because this is what I mean when you gotta pass it through another thing so that it can pick which one is being outputted. Now I remember when I said that we're going to pass these what you call this thing, switches to another thing, so that you only need to press one button for it, right? So okay. So now change this into output X switches, right? So change this from ranges negative 30 to 0, because basically we're just going to make it now a switch. Okay. So go to what you call this thing. Okay, now add, call this thing switch. Okay. Make sure this is 0 to 90. Add the what you call this thing, output X switches, right? Add, changes 0.7. Change this to angle. So now, when what you call this thing, where is it? When where is it? This thing, right? You can see that when it's turned, right, it's going to be activated. Like it'll be here at the middle. So when it's here, nothing happens right now, right? So you gotta add what you call this thing, the thing that you want to be at the middle. So this is going to be either main turn X switch, right? You're just going to see it basically. You gotta have to make it, healing for it. You're done, please. So turn this on. It turns off when this thing is at the middle, it turns off this one, the main turn X. So this should be the what you call this thing. It'll be inverted, so you can see it. Odds. I am from what you call this thing. When I was editing the video, I was like so confused about this part. Basically, the switch aims so that this, right, the X switch here, turns on one thing and turns off the other. That's it. I, at the time, could not formulate a proper idea on how to do it. So, yeah, that's it. So you can see the main turn X is switch, right? If it's the side, it'll turn on the main turn while the reverse turn is off. If it's the other side, turns on reverse turn, turns off main turn. That's it. I was so confused. I was so brain damaged at the time. That's it. That's all you gotta know. So this now is turning off the switch here. So next up, we're going to make sure group editing, this is being cancelled out, so nothing is happening. So increase priority. Okay. So now when I turn this on, right? It's now, what you call this thing, tracking the reversed, right? As you can see in outputted X, it's reversed. So now we just basically copy it, duplicate it, switch to, don't gotta name it actually. So just change this to reverse turn X switch, and just what you call this thing, see from 90 here, make it to 0, and this one to negative 90. Negative 90. So one will be on while the other is off. So right now it's doing the what you call this thing, left and right, while the other one, look, output it X, something is different. Yeah, no, it should be fine, it should be fine. Oh, no wonder I didn't increase output this, my bad. So now going back to your switches. So this is for the reverse turn X, right? Basically, I passed it through here so that I only need to press this. So we can pick one is being turned on while the other is being turned off. Right? So now, it's now inverted. You can see it here. So now when I turn this off, now it's normal tracking. So, how do you use that? Okay, basically, for outputted X, okay, I'm going to teach you the concept of augments for this one too. So, go into your physics, add just simple aug X. I'm just going to use the xaug preset. Okay. Add, change it to 0.7. And now just change this angle X to outputted X, right? And have it here be augments. So this is done, except for this, which is now a toggle, so we can turn that back. So we're gonna replicate things and change this to aug X. So now using aug X, right? We're going to go to here, aug X. Aug X. So now, turn left and right, and then increase output. So now, so that you can have a physical viewing of what happens, we're going to, so this is going to be angle X. But for this one, we're going to do this thing 3 times over. So, because, you know, X, Y, and Z, as I said. This is just for the X. All the trouble for the X. So that worth it. So left. You can see. So now, you can see that this is turning as it should be. However, when I turn on the switch, it's now inversed. You can see it, right? So now we're going to add the, you know, the Y tracking for it. However, here is a tip. Before you do that, you gotta rename this. So main X switch. You gotta have a proper naming convention for this, so that when you know, replace shit, it's going to be much more easier, right? Main X switch. We gotta be proper with it. I'm just being proper with it because this is going to be used multiple different files. Because I'm just making, I've already made my preset for it, so I don't have to worry. But you will have to worry about the naming conventions about this, because this can affect how it'll be read upon other files. Because some files will use param4 again. Not really, because you can only have one instance of ID being used somewhere, but it's going to be problematic. That's it. So reversed. No, yeah, there's no spaces, by the way. Oh yeah. Now that when you're done with this, you basically copy all of it, replicate it to be exact, right? Put it underneath, do it again, and now you just gotta rename it. Change the X to Y. Okay, I'm just going to time lapse this in the video, but okay, I paused the thingamabob, the time lapse in the video, and now you're going to do it again, but for Z this time. Okay, now that we're done, basically we're just going to do all of those things again, problematic, but 3 times over. So go to your physics window, go to group editing, making sure everything is right. And now, what you gotta do, hold up, let me just wait. I'm gonna rename this og y og v. So we're going to do all of it again. So control enter. Control enter is a keybind that I personally set for my physics, but go to physics window, right? And basically just going to group editing, and so, you can only duplicate one thing at a time. So duplicate. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is like so repetitive, but yeah, it takes like 18 parameters to do this shit bare minimum. So switch Y, change this to output X switches. Output X switches to, where is it? Oh right, I forgot. My bad. You gotta, because we did that for that, we gotta do it for the switches. Now that you're done, basically change this to output Y switches and change this to main turn X switch to main turn Y switch. Go to stretch Z, output X switches, output Z switches, and turn this to main turn Z switch, main turn Z switch. There. Now go to this one, output X switches, right? Because that is the OG one. This one. Now we go to Y2 here, change this to output Y switches, and reverse turn Y switch. Reverse turn Y switch. Same, go this one. Put X switches, output Z switches, and change this to turn Z switch, reverse turn Z switch. Yeah. Yeah. So go to main turn Y switch. This should change this to angle Y, main turn Y switch, main turn Y switch, and main turn Y fizz. Now same as Z, angle Z, main turn Z switch. I mean main turn Z switch here, this one, the other one, and change this to main turn ZX. Main turn Z fizz, main turn Z fizz, main turn. Oh shit! I forgot to rename it. Main turn. Going back. Main turn Z fizz. Okay, that's fine. Now this one, reverse turn X. Okay, this is for the X. Yeah, this is for the Y. So go to settings, change it to angle Y. Reverse turn Y switch. Where is it? Reverse turn Y switch. There we go. Reverse turn fizz Y. First turn fizz Y. Now go to the Z. This is so confusing, right? Z, reverse turn Z switch, reverse turn X switch. It should be this one. Yeah. Let me rename it. reverse turn Z switch, yeah. Reverse turn fizz Y. So, I mean Z. This is the Z. Yeah. And now go to outputted Y. Change all of this to main third Y switch. This one main turn, reverse turn Y switch. Main turn Y fizz, reverse turn fizz Y. Change this to outputted, what you call this thing? Outputted Y. Then for the outputted Z here, change all of this, but for the Z, so main turn Z switch, reverse turn Z switch. Main turn X is now reverse, main turn Z fizz, and reverse turn fizz Z. And change this to outputted Z. Yeah. So go to aug Y, change the outputted X to outputted Y, change this from aug X to aug Y, go to aug Z, change this to aug Z, and just this one to outputted Z. Okay, so now we made it 3 times over. We've made sure everything should be right. So when you do this, let me rig this thing for. So go to preview, settings of cursor tracking, right? And make sure that angle Z is being tracked by right mouse X so that you can see your tracking. So you can see that this is the tracking normally, right? If I let go of my right mouse button. So let me turn on the X fizz. So now the X is inverted. Now you can also invert your Y. So this is Z, and invert Z. So when you invert it all, so okay. Oops, I didn't. Yeah, should be good. So you can choose which one to, inverse while keeping the others the same. Right? So now you're going to wonder, but what am I going to use for my physics, right? Here's the thing. Because your body is now reversed, right? It's going to have problems with Z because with the physics. Because basically what happens is, because it's now inverted, when you invert things while still looking like their own way, their original way is going to look like funky. Trust me on that one. So what you can do, right? So for example, we're going to add like face X fizz. Okay, we're going to rename this body X fizz X. Okay, just change this to body Y and Y. Y. Right, so now we're going to just add simple. Yeah, simple things. So now, for example, we're just going to have it here, face turn X. So now, for example, we're going to add face X face. Okay. So basically, right, we're going to add just one pendulum, add the angle X here as position, whatever, and then the face X, what is it? Face X physics. So now when the head is going to look left and right, it's going to have that little glue shit, right? However, same cannot be said for the body. Right? So basically what happens, if you keep this to angle X, while this is, while the body X is, hold on, let me just scroll down, right? Because that's how it should be, but when you inverse it, you can see that the physics is going, the opposite way. How can you avoid that? Simple. Because we've made the physics group output into an OG, right? So the OG X is using the outputted X, right? We can use, okay, go back to your body physics. You can just use OG X as your input, so it can still be right. So even if it's inversed, right, it's going to have the same physics when it's like, this one. Just increase it more, right? You can see that even when it's an inverse, right? I'm going to emphasize the X a bit because you can't be seen. Right? Even when it is inversed, it goes to the proper way of the physics because you pass the outputted X into an augment, right? So that augment can be used as another thing. So same can be said if you duplicate this Y, aug X to aug Y, body phys X this to body phys Y. So when you look up and down, right? See that the arms, so even if it's inversed, going to see that it's still, reacting to like air resistance, right? Properly. Sorry, because this is outputted so weirdly. So yeah, that's how you will be making the what you call this thing, the turns basically for your output, inverse tracking things. Apart from that, that's it. Good luck, everyone. I hope you all have a good time with it. If you need questions, just ask me. Just DM me on Twitter or whatever, and I'm free to help. So yeah, good luck, everyone. I hope you all have an amount of success when it replicating this. So yeah, good luck, everyone. Bye bye.